Hi, David. Good, David. Good. How? Yeah, is that with an echo? Is that
That's
okay?
better. Thank you.
How's everyone doing? I imagine spirits are pretty high after a decent week, unbeaten now in the last couple of games.
Yeah, we're pleased with how this week's gone. I think we'd have taken 4 points at the end of the week from the games we had. But overall, we're sitting to a new week now, really. Well, I'd hardly know where the weeks are. I don't know if it's what day of the week it is, and I don't know what day the games are getting played. I just know that there's games coming up very, very quickly at the moment. And obviously it's Burnley tomorrow night, so we'll do everything we can to keep the momentum going. The players have shown great spirit amongst themselves, and within the dressing room they're in good fettle, so long may that continue.
And in terms of team news, how's Sebastian Haller doing? Will we see him tomorrow night?
Sebastian Haller's doing better. He's trained yesterday. We'll see how he is when we finish training today to see how he comes through, but he's certainly getting closer now to being available. Whether he's ready to play is a different thing.
And how's Felipe Anderson as well?
I saw him jogging yesterday, but he won't be available for the game. Felipe, he's got a very slight hamstring tweak, a grade 1 hamstring tweak, which normally could keep you out maybe 10 days, 14 days. It's not something which he's had before, so we're hoping that it's not too serious, and we can have him back available quite shortly.
And in terms of the game tomorrow, just how big a game is this, in the sense that 3 points could, I suppose, put you on the brink of safety, really?
Well, I think all games are really important. We said that, asked the same question when I went to Newcastle, Emma, that how the importance of the game is. But the good thing is we've actually been here before. We've had a run in a couple of years ago, not too unsimilar. Some games which are looked as winnable games, or chances to win games, as you're saying. There's been other games which have looked hard, and I think what we're trying to do is focus on the next game, try and make sure we prepare the best we can. It's still difficult circumstances for players with the amount of games they're having to play in a short period, and obviously no crowds at the games as well. But hopefully the players can keep their focus in the way they've been playing, and if they do that, then it'll give us a great opportunity.
And in terms of Burnley, what have you made of them since the restart? They've obviously had another very good season, but they have been hit hard by injury.
Yeah, and I think that a few clubs have been hit hard with different injuries. We were, for the early games, we didn't have Angelo Bonan, we've not had Sepp Haller, Robert Snodgrass, who's important to us as well. So we've missed those players. But I think we all probably expected to come back. It's a bit like after a pre-season, most clubs come back with a few injuries, whether they pick them up during training or whether they pick them up in the pre-season friendlies. So it quite often happens. But, I think we all knew there was going to be injuries, but hopefully we'll be okay. But I know that Burnley have had a brilliant season. Sean's done another great job, and hopefully he's not that interested about this game.
And I've just got a couple of questions that we're asking all managers today, if you don't mind, David. One is on the drinks breaks, because some managers have been quite vocal about how they're not a fan, and it's very much a sort of tactical exercise, I suppose. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think it should have been introduced from the start. I didn't think it was right. Understood why. I thought it should have been something which is at the referee's discretion in games. If we were up in the 70s or the 80s and he felt that players needed a drink or it needed that, he could have done it. There's plenty of stoppages in games now where we could do it. When an injury happened, he could have allowed it to happen. I don't think it's a necessity, and it's also a change of rules from where we were at the start of the season, which I think is wrong, to start the Premier League season one way and finish it in a different way.
And just lastly, just your thoughts on, I suppose, the lack of crowd and how that affects your ability to get messages across to players.
I think having the lack of crowd actually makes it the ability to get messages over probably a little bit easier. Sadly, we find ourselves probably speaking too much, because we know the players can't hear it much more now than probably they do on a game day. You realise that they can. But there's no doubt we're missing football. Whatever you say, football's not the same without supporters. I think the players are doing everything they possibly can to make the games as good as they are, but I think we all know that feeling of playing in front of the supporters and the crowd and how it changes. There's no noise when you score a goal. There's no celebrations. And I would even thought for television and for the media, that's all part of the sport, and I think we're missing out on that.
Thanks, Emma. Andy?
Afternoon, David. I know you, like us, are losing track of the days, but how much does the quick turnaround almost help so the players don't dwell on what perhaps got away from them on Sunday? 3 points that got away.
Well, I don't agree with what your question at the start, Andy, because I think that the players do need recovery time. And I think that for us to be put in a period of 3 games in 6 days, when it's probably could arguably be 3 of our most important games, I think is not right. I think it's incorrect. But we have to do it, and we have to get on with it. But I don't agree with the Premier League and how they've done that. But
in terms of mentally, the players recovering from, not recovering is probably the wrong word, but kind of not dwelling on a previous game and getting straight onto the next. Does it help them out mentally rather than physically, obviously?
Well, I think that they are. The players are recovering much quicker, and they know and they realise what they have to do to get back ready to play again. So maybe taking a wee bit of that away. Maybe team players and clubs are not being able to have as many recovery days because of the quickness and turnaround the games. So we've had to do that as well. We have to do the same as everybody else. But I've got to say the players have been great. They've really looked after themselves. We're trying to keep as many of them fit and ready for the games. And after they come back from lockdown, they were in good condition. They kept themselves well, and we trained hard and tried to prepare for the games.
Yeah.
And I hope that what we've done in that period sort of comes through in the coming games. And we only have, 3 weeks to go this season now, so we have to try and keep focused and fit and mentally and physically in good shape.
Just one of those players, Thomas Soucek, how important and how crucial has he become to this West Ham side in terms of the relegation survival?
Well, I actually think that he just started to become crucial to us near enough when he arrived. He played really well at Liverpool. We were winning at Liverpool when he had to come off with an injury. And I think he's helped us. But it's what we thought he was capable of. But I think if we're all expecting the new players coming in, whether it be West Ham or whether it be any club, that they all make an impact immediately, it doesn't happen very often. And quite often players are judged very quickly, or the managers are judged on their signings very quickly, when really I think they need to be given a chance to bed in and take time. But credit to Thomas, he's had an impact for the team. He's well liked, and he's definitely contributing to what we've got at the moment.
An excellent week, or an excellent couple of games, like you touched upon before. Obviously 4 points from Chelsea and Newcastle. It's a really, really good return at this time of the season. 4 points clear of the relegation zone. Does that allow the players a little bit more of a cushion mentally, or are they not focusing on the points in the league specifically right now?
We've got our noses in front, and we intend to stay in front.
Thanks, Andy. Ian?
Hi, David.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Okay, so if you win tomorrow, you're pretty much safe, because the bottom 3, bottom 4 barely look like winning one game between them, let alone 2 or 3 each. What sort of mindset would the players be in then, going into the last 4 or 5 games of the season, knowing that their mission had been achieved?
Well, I think we have to do it, first of all. I wish what you were saying was so easy to sort of follow through, but we've got difficult opposition in Burnley, and we've got difficult opposition after that. So all we can do is try and play as well as we have and improve on it. We're keeping asking for better, but we're scoring goals. We weren't scoring goals in the first couple of games. We are now asking for us to defend better, keep the goals up. We're creating opportunities and chances, which we're looking much better at that. I think our football's been good at times. We'd like to improve on it. But the big thing is for us, as you well know, Moose, is to make sure that we get out of trouble and make sure that we win the game. So we've got a job to do, big job to do, to make sure that we keep, as I said a bit earlier, our noses in front.
Have you been able to think or lay down a marker in your own mind about next season yet at all? I mean, even in terms of players that will be staying or...
No, nothing. It's not even crossed my mind, because the focus and the job's too important to get the wins and try and pick up the points, because you could be doing something which isn't right or relevant. So I couldn't even tell you when next season's starting at the moment. I couldn't even tell you if the players are going to have a bit of time off or no time off, because I can only think about how we win the games. And I think we saw Eddie Howe talking about it. It's all consuming, and I'd have to agree with that. It's all consuming to make sure that you win as many games as you possibly can.
Can you talk to me about one player in particular, please? Michail Antonio. We're doing a little feature on him for the game. I think since he arrived at the club, he's been absolutely amazing. Came from Tuesday and Mitcham all the way back. He's been at Reading, at Forest, Southampton. Everywhere he's gone, he's been well thought of. What's it been like to coach, and what's he like as a person? Because I always find him as really enthusiastic and effervescent.
I agree with you. I think he's got an awful lot to offer. He's got pace and power. If you think about him, he's played as a right wing back, he's played as a left wing back, he's played as a right winger, left winger. We're playing him as a centre forward. So he's someone who can fill several roles, and partly because of his power and pace, which he's got. But then just tempering that is when you've got that power and pace, quite often it leads to injuries as well. And he's had a real bout of injuries at different times. And really, if you look back, this is probably his best spell of games. And when you go to how many 90 minutes he's played, continuous games. And I think now we're beginning to see a bit more of Mickey. And I also think as well, he's getting to an age where he's maturing a little bit as well in much of the things he does. But he's helping us. He's carrying the front line for us greatly. He's got us a couple of goals. He probably should have scored another one. He had a great chance against Chelsea the other night when he was through. So he's had a couple of chances in every game. So let's hope he continues to keep taking them.
My last one, I was at Spurs last night, and as the players went off the pitch at half-time, we saw a little bit of an incident between Hugo Lloris and Heung-min Son. I've seen it before at West Ham. You'll have probably seen it in football as well. You may even have been a manager when it's happened at a club. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Because I'm a bit confused about whether it's good for team morale to see players having a go at each other or not.
But what I took from it was there was no crowd in the stadium. There was nobody there, and the players were still at each other because players really care. Whatever club they care, their profession cares. They want people to do things right. If they see something wrong, and actually, I think the point of players digging people out maybe is a bit of a dying art. In years gone by, there have been people getting dug out all over the place. So I think what Josie said says it was great, and actually watching it, I quite enjoyed it as well. But it shows that the players, even without the passion of the support there, they were definitely showing it on the pitch and trying to show that it mattered for their team.
Thanks, guys. We'll move to the written now.